Created by writer Roy Thomas and artist John Buscema, Ultron is one of my all-time favorite villains of Marvel Comics. He's up there with Doctor Doom, Magneto, and Apocalypse as being that larger-than-life main event-level villain for all the heroes to go up against. He's always changing, becoming stronger, finding ways to improve himself. There's never a dull moment with this character. He's an ever-growing threat for anyone he battles. Before we begin this breakdown, I realize Ultron is technically an it, but I've always referred to him as he for one reason or another. Who cares? It's just fiction. Ultron debuted as a cameo in the Avengers number 54 from July of 1968, revealed as the true identity of the Crimson Cowl. He would make his full appearance and be officially named in issue 55 as Ultron 5, the Living Automaton. Ultron is a highly advanced artificial intelligence inhabiting a robot body. He was designed by Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, and was based off his brain patterns. Ultron would end up rebelling against his creator and developed an Oedipus complex, in that he has a deep hatred for his father and a natural attachment to his mother, the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne. It borders on romantic at times, but we'll get to that later. Anyways, Ultron's first major confrontation with the Avengers happened in issue 57, where he creates the android Vision based off the brain patterns of the recently deceased Wonder Man, and sends him to destroy the team. Vision attacks Avengers Mansion, but is persuaded by our heroes to stand down. He tries to recall the reason he was sent, and feels he should be an ally of the Avengers, not an enemy. He recalls Ultron and decides to turn on his creator, feeling nothing but hatred for the evil robot, much in the same way Ultron turned against Pym. Karma is a bitch, isn't it? Vision leads the Avengers back to Ultron's hideout, where Ultron tells Vision that they are far above the human race. He tricks Vision into believing he will spare the Avengers, and then throws him into an energy vat to destroy him. However, Vision phases through it, and then phases again when Ultron attacks him, causing the villain to ram head first into a wall and detonate twin electrodes that are on his head. Ultron is seemingly destroyed, but his head remains intact, blown far away from his body. Ultron, now referring to himself as Ultron 6, would return in issue 66 to battle the Avengers once again. This time his body has been upgraded using the indestructible material known as adamantium, thus eliminating his electrode weakness from before. His plan is to eradicate all humankind with a giant nuclear explosion, leaving only him remaining. He even leaves the Avengers alive for the time being, just so they can watch everyone else die first. How evil is that? Ultron wants to create an army of adamantium robots, and intends to absorb the knowledge of Dr. McClane, the inventor of the adamantium formula. Appearing with a new design, called Ultimate Ultron, the villain kidnaps the Doctor, and even withstands a strike from Thor's mighty hammer. When Ultron hooks McClane up to his mind-draining machine, the knowledge he absorbs begins tearing him apart. McClane is revealed as Ultron's creator, Hank Pym, in disguise. Pym filled his mind with one thought that would be too alien or primitive for Ultrons. It was simply the phrase, "Thou shalt not kill." I mentioned earlier in this video that Ultron has a natural hatred and disdain for his father, Hank Pym. However, he has a special attachment to his mother, so much so that he has Janet Van Dyne's life force and brain patterns transferred into a robotic body of his own design, named Jocasta, with the intention of making her his bride. Honestly, it's like something out of Frankenstein. Despite being programmed to love him, Jocasta realizes Ultron's true evil and helps the Avengers to destroy him. Throughout the 1980s, Ultron would continue to battle members of the Avengers, Daredevil, and the West Coast Avengers, upgrading himself several times along the way. By the 1990s, he had reached Mark 13, and to my knowledge, the last incarnation of him to be numbered was Ultron 18 in the early 2000s, though that one was made of steel, so sort of a step backwards, I guess. Though the numbering with his name has basically stopped, Ultron as a villain, a main antagonist of the Avengers, has not. Since the team's inception, he has been one of their biggest rivals. Ultron, by nature, is very irrational and naive at his core. Despite being an artificial intelligence possessing vast knowledge, he lacks experience. He knows, but does not fully understand. There is a difference. Because he's so naive, most times, he can come off as immature, like a whiny or rebellious teenager, which makes sense, given his creation and relationship with his parental figures. Stemming from this, I feel there is a natural comedic tone and silliness to everything he does. Don't get me wrong, he is evil, wanting to not only destroy the Avengers and the human race as a whole, but the immature way in which he presents himself at times and the slapstick level of humor used in his countless destructions make me believe the writers wanted to have fun with this type of character. They embraced the underlying silliness of this whole idea. Ultron is one of my favorite Marvel villains. He upgrades himself and improves upon his weaknesses, always trying to achieve that perfect body in the hopes of turning himself into the ultimate weapon and being. The extent of his evilness knows no bounds. His schemes always find a way to outdo the last. The pure hatred he has for his father, as well as human beings in general, is also admirable in a strange way. One thing you can't deny is his passion. Without a doubt, Ultron is one of the best Marvel villains ever created. At least, I think so.